So I'm Mario, I'm the head chef at Bistro Gentil in Wanaka. I'm here to host the team from Brisbane, who's going to be with us for the next couple of days. So Team Brisbane will be myself, Chef Chris Hagan, and sommelier Pete Marchant.
First and foremost, Wanaka is one of the most prettiest parts of the world, and I sort of fell in love with Wanaka many years ago, and it's such a privilege to come back and see it again and see where everyone's at from the food and wine perspective. It's just developed so much, and it's going to be cool to get out to some of the regional stuff and see some of the producers. It's great to always taste it on the plate and to see it in the restaurants as the finished product, but it's really important, I think, for all of us to sort of know where it comes from and to actually see these places and to speak to the farmers that are growing these animals and growing this produce.
So we've got the Masano group, they're coming over from Melbourne. They're going to hang out with us for the autumn harvest in Wanaka, see what it's all about. And then I'm going to show them my take on Wanaka local cuisines through my food truck, Morsel the Honest Food Co. So Team Melbourne is myself, Elliot Thomas, Chef Richard Masano, and his daughter Cara Masano, sommelier.
I love the discovery, meeting passionate, interesting personalities and people who are really connected with their land, essentially, and who want to share it and want others around the globe to embrace it and to be proud of what they have here in Wanaka.
I know that Cara spent a bit of time over here before. I think Richard's going to have his kind of eyes open. He's never been here before, so that's going to be cool. And I'm really excited to host these guys.
So I'm James, the owner of Kika here in Wanaka, and I'm going to be hosting the Sydney girls around a late autumn harvest, taking them out to some food producers and hidden secret spots. So Team Sydney is myself, Chef Pelissa Anderson, and sommelier Sam Payne.
So Pelissa and I went to James's restaurant, Kika, in the heart of town. In one short word, was incredible. So we really got to see his vision of what he does with all this produce that he forages and gets from really great suppliers. It's a great little restaurant and completely buzzing and great vibe and great energy, like non-stop. There were just people like streaming in, and they don't take bookings and they're completely booked out like 7 nights of the week. Like it's bonkers, but it seems to be the place to go to when you're in town.
Amazing morning, up early, sort of watched the sunrise here, which was just incredible, and just watching the sun come up over the lake and getting started for the day and headed out to West Wanaka and this incredible venison farm. There's just so much care and attention into these animals, and again, it's just seeing where this stuff comes from, and these venison have to be happy. The land that they're on, it is some of the most beautiful country you've ever seen. And just hearing the I suppose, and I hate using that word, it's that overused term of passion of this farmer, but seeing how much care and attention goes into growing these amazing animals and then getting to be able to play with the products and for then me to be able to sort of see where it comes from. I think you get to understand the product more, so that from a matching perspective, you can really sort of hone in on a couple of characters in particular. So today I'm talking about the deer feeding on wild thyme. And so there's that herbal sort of stuff that you do pick up a little bit in some of the meats. So, hopefully we can pick that up with some of the wines that we look at today.
So these are the roasts I was telling you about yesterday. So it's quite a mission to pick them because they're so thorny. But once you take them off, blanch them or steep them really nice. Yeah.
Fruit has thorns on it.
Yeah, I told you, it's like crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it tastes delicious, but it's a bit hard work to harvest.
Can we taste these?
Yeah, you can try to eat one. It should be really zesty. I'll give you extra spikes.
You go. Do you want it?
Give you extra spiky.
I want to try it.
Just like eat the outside, don't eat the stones or the seeds. It's not as nice without the sugar, is it?
No, it's not. But it's that acid.
Super acidic.
We're just on the outskirts of Wanaka, and so this is Martin's garden. So he's a local guy that's just growing organic produce. It's just really good to have somewhere local I can come and see what he's got going. Yeah, it's just nice, amazing produce and really fresh. So
incredible market garden he's got set up here. I think he's pretty new to it, And for, somebody who's just gotten into it, it's pretty well established. And we're looking at things that we can use for our dinner. Oh yeah, just walking around picking the herbs and smelling things and tasting the chilies, because obviously we've got to have a bit of chilies in our dish. So yeah, I think we're gonna get there. Like, you can feel it when you eat it. And the fact that you can go around these beds and pick them raw and eat them without having to wash them, that's a testament to, what he's doing. It's amazing. This is, for me, the best part of the creative process, because you cannot cook good food without good produce. This is so good.
I know. Yeah, really amazing, huh?
Thank you very much for having us.
No worries.
We're here in Hawea with Steve at the hazelnut orchard. He's got an awesome little crop of organic hazelnuts that he sells down at the local market. So good to have it at our access. Pretty stoked with that for today. Steve's a super down-to-earth guy, really passionate about what he was doing. He's put a lot of care into planting this orchard. I loved the fact that it's all organic for a start, and then the nuts, like when you ate them, they were just like so flavourful. You could really taste the oil within them, which is awesome.
Have a couple of these and take them, see what you can do with them.
Awesome.
Just at the Bistro Gentle Garden at the moment, where I'm lucky enough to have lots of varieties of stone fruits, apples, pears, that we can turn into chutneys, sorbets, ice creams. So I thought I'll bring Chris over here and see what local things we can use here. And it's organic, it's fresh, you know where it came from.
So we're going to use some hazelnuts, and we've got a lot of little garnishes, so some rosemary flowers, rose petals, and some mustard leaf as well. Yeah, I suppose I'm really appreciative of how accommodating Mario has been and letting me use his kitchen and prep and show me some of the local produce around the area. It's been a great time and great meeting him, and you always learn how different people do things. Yeah, so next up we're going to go to the local honey farm and have a look at a few hives and see, so we can use it for the entree and try and round out, just finish it with a little bit of sweetness with the figs.
We just brought the girls over from Sydney to just come up here and just experience where the lamb are raised. It's quite an experience to eat some of the food actually on the property, of like we're standing on the stuff the lambs are fed on. It's just those kind of things just stick with you, and I think as a chef you're always looking for that, and you need to know the reason why you're using a certain product. And coming here, meeting Grant and finding out all the good practices they use, I think it's a good takeaway for us all to just, reason why something tastes so good is that all the background steps that people like Grant put into it.
We're currently on the top of a mountain eating really, really outstandingly good lamb. Like, melt in your mouth, hands down, best lamb. It's just gorgeous. You can really see how he's thought about the land and how that sort of affects the ecosystem of what he's trying to do, and that then in turn creates this incredible product, these lambs. You taste it in the flavour. He's thought about what he's planting to feed them, like the chicory, like the beets and things like that, because that's going to give the lamb different sort of nutrients and characteristics, and then in the end a better product, and you taste it.
We're just looking forward to using some of this lamb tomorrow for the dinner. We'll just kind of see what we can come up with, really.
So we're here at Garden Fruits in Hawea Flat with Mr. Paul. He's our veggie grower. We're here to pick some amazing organic vegetables from Paul. He will be harvesting them with us, which is awesome. Pretty excited about that.
When I got to Paul Organic Farming and Produce, it was a completely wonderful organic world, things that I have never seen before. When I looked at the soil, so rich, the garlic, such a wonderful ingredient that we use it across the board, not to have germ inside was unique. I haven't seen a garlic like that for 35 years. So when I saw it, I said, I've got to use this.
I was just loving all this fresh garden produce, grabbing the flower of the Jerusalem artichoke and tasting that it was actually like tasting a Jerusalem artichoke, and seeing Richard, my father / chef, get his hands dirty and pick all the produce. I just thought that was amazing.
So we're here at Lake Hawea, right on the shore. It's amazing behind me here, and we've just been through the tasting and seen these incredible bees and looking at all the manuka up on the hillside, and the impact that it has on this honey is quite remarkable. And it's really interesting looking at the flavour profiles against the clover honey as well. And I think people's sort of perception of what honey is to what this is a completely different step. So it's going to be really interesting to see it influence the dish and what the guys are going to do with it, and just seeing the reaction of the different flavours and how we can play with this for the course tomorrow is going to be amazing. It's great listening to Ruben because he's fourth generation beekeeper, so he's probably part honey, I think, inside himself, but it's just really cool. He's obviously he's into it, and I think that's the thing with any of the producers that we've met whilst we've been here in Wanaka, is that everyone's into it properly. They're not doing it for necessarily commercial reasons first. It's like they just love it and they want to do it, and that just comes through in the products that they're producing, and that's the stuff you fall in love with. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can use the elements that we've seen today across the different properties with the different producers and working out how it can all come together in the dish to show off the best that we can from Wanaka.
Yeah, we're on the grounds of Wharakia, and there's a lot of like untouched sort of open areas here, and lots of different trees, which means lots of different mushrooms. So we were lucky enough to get Peter Langlands, which is a professional forager, New Zealand. So we're really fortunate to have him here and just identify some of the mushrooms. And well, there's so much stuff that's around, even just this property, that's edible that you just wouldn't know unless you had an expert. And especially with mushrooms, you need an expert. You know, we're going to find some awesome stuff here today.
Peter's the best. He's so good. Like, I literally go to him like, is this one poisonous? Is this one poisonous? Is this one safe? Is this one not safe? No, he's great. And just that wealth of knowledge that he has accumulated over a, lifetime of foraging.
We found some mushrooms, and also it's sweet chestnut season. So we were lucky enough to find a sweet chestnut tree. The first thoughts we're kind of thinking is we're going to make a soup with the chestnuts and maybe smoke them. And then we've got a selection of mushrooms. So we might, we've got some really nice manuka here. So we might make a little skewer with the manuka, skewer the mushrooms, and then grill them just to serve with the soup. We've kept it pretty open. So we're just going to get everything we've got back and have a look at it and then start to make a plan. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting cooking, really.
I have been to the fabulous Wanaka Distillery. Very exciting. Was my first time at a distillery, and it was lovely to be introduced to Wanaka's very fine gins, some beautiful vodka, and also some lovely liqueurs, which I think is so special because they focus on some of the local produce. I had never tried a gin which had seen time in barrel. Sommeliers fall in love with barrels, I feel, and I was very excited to discover that the barrels were of Central Otago Chardonnay, and it imparted this lovely, nutty, buttery taste in a very subtle way to the gin, which I thought complemented the juniper notes really well. And I just found it very fascinating and really enjoyable.
So standing in the Mount Maud Vineyard, right in front of it, which is quite amazing. We've got Mount Maud behind us, this amazing slope of incredible wines. It's great to sit down and talk with SK and actually go through the wines in situ, where the wines are actually made. There's something really special about being in the vineyard, where the fruit's coming off, and it's about to come off the vines right now. And looking through these wines and seeing exactly what the aspect and what the layout of the land has actually had into producing this wine. So what we're actually looking at here is the East meets West Pinot, which is two different blocks that come together to make this really intriguing, super spicy style that is very different to the classics, to the Central Otago style. And it's almost like it's very Wanaka, which I think is pretty cool. And this is the thing that I think we're going to actually do with the venison today. Pretty excited to get this. This is an idea we had before I even got here, I suppose, was potentially using something that wasn't quite finished, and so awesome to taste this today at Maud. A secret squirrel kind of thing that we're going to do potentially for lunch, which is non-fermented grape juice. It's so concentrated and so delicious. It's almost like cordial, but hopefully with Chris's dish, it's going to work an absolute treat.
So here I am in Bendigo, which is about 30-35 minutes outside of Wanaka Township in this really beautiful vineyard with Jen Pa and AJ to find some wine to pair with our lamb dish today, which is going to be very exciting. So predominantly Pinot from this vineyard. So we're looking for sort of those sort of red fruited spectrums, maybe even a bit of savouriness, but really want that vibrancy and that acidity to sort of pair and match with the lamb dish. You really can taste Central Otago in the glass. Like, there's nothing else quite like that, from the really sort of riper fruit-driven styles to the slightly sort of more ethereal, leaner, more savoury styles. You can't mistake it for anywhere else in the world. And why would you want to? You know, if you come here, you want to try what the land is providing you. So, you know, looking at this is going to be much better with the lamb loin because it's got enough acid lift in there to cut through protein, but not so much structure that it's going to overpower the dish. There's a delicacy and a light hand to this wine.
We are at the picturesque Ripon in Lake Wanaka, one of the pioneers of Pinot Noir and beautiful crafted winemaking here in Central Otago. I have had a fabulous morning with Leslie, and we've done a fabulous tasting, fabulous lineup and bracket of really interesting wines. Great to see vintage variation, bottle age, which I think we're going to showcase at the lunch. So yeah, that's been fantastic. Great to see the aspects, the vineyards, the schistous soil, talk about their winemaking. It's not just about the land, it's about the people working in with the land and showcasing their passion for the region and their passion for their terroir, which I think is so exciting. So I will be pairing some of the fabulous wines from Ripon with the luncheon today. Yeah, I'm very, very excited, but I was really put on the spot and I was a bit challenged with my initial pairings. So, you know, got to make a sommelier sweat someday.
Well, so today is the day, really. We get to put all our foraging and exploring to work into 3 dishes. We are set up at the Wharakia kitchen and guests are starting to arrive. And we're really excited to share what we found with them.
We're working really well as a really cohesive team. Like, we're obviously really respectful of where, you know, each one's headspace is at. And I think at the end of the day, we're working with such great produce. We're going to have such great, you know, spirits, beers, wines to pair with it all. We're really going to give, you know, a snapshot of what food and wine in Wanaka is all about.
Having tasted Mario's food and knowing Chris's food so well, it's kind of a blend of both of them in these dishes, which I think is really awesome. I thought it was going to be one sort of leading, but it's this really awesome sort of dance that's happened over the last couple of days. And, you know, there's some familiarity there in one of the dishes and maybe not so much in the other. So we're going to, you know, sort of play with the classics a little bit, but, you know, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. The flavours here are so pure. We don't need to do anything crazy with them. It's just bringing them out. And that's the thing when we've got these amazing figs from Mario's garden, you know, the hazelnuts from behind the bistro, you know, and this amazing venison for main course. Dessert's going to be really cool as well. I'm really looking forward to the match with that one that we've got planned.
It's been really awesome to have Richard here because he's pretty like old school, and I guess I've got like a new approach to food. We've gone with all vegetarian dishes just so we can, you know, showcase what's around and get some flavour into it. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it all and putting a great experience on for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible experience. Fantastic time sort of working with different chefs and seeing different produce. You know, rosehip isn't something I've used before. And yeah, and it's a beautiful part of the world to come down to and hang out for a few days and cook some food. Yeah, the people and the atmosphere and the produce as well has been fantastic.
I mean, I think people enjoyed themselves from a lunch perspective. It would have been pretty cool to sit down and have all those dishes together. But try and thread a line through that, which is what we did. So it's just great working with good people who love food and wine.
This was the place to be, really. A wonderful lake, beautiful landscape. It's just a different dimension and flavours. So and Wanaka provide that for me today to provide a wonderful dish, which I haven't been able to cook there for 35 years. And today was a great highlight.
I've loved getting to know Wanaka in more finer detail and meeting some really passionate people and characters. Meeting Paul at Garden Foods was amazing. I wish we could move our restaurant to Wanaka and be able to go there and touch and feel our produce.
So much a surprise on every level how much I absolutely loved it. I knew the landscape was going to be stunning, but what was more stunning was the quality of the produce, the quality of the chefs and the people who live and work around here.
My Wanaka experience, what I've taken away, it's just reaffirmed my love for this place. Like I've said multiple times before that I find Central Otago in particular to be really soul restoring. This just confirmed everything that I had already inherently felt, like the care that people have for the land. And it shows in the produce, in the food, in the wines that are coming out of this region. Like it's my happy place. It's everything you want out of a region and more.